Welcome to yet another episode.
Yeah, it's beginning to be a recurring thing.
It is, yeah. It's number 4 of our adventures in Middle Earth. That's right. And where have we been adventuring most recently?
We adventured down to Toronto.
We went to the Desolation of Toronto run by Blackfyre Productions.
Yeah.
Which was last weekend, so that was July 21st and...
It was a week ago.
22nd?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. It was good. It was
had a
really
great time.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to Adam again today by text and just telling him how good it was. And
I was impressed.
I was too. And like, you know, at the beginning, like, because in our community, we're not used to 2-day events.
No, that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, to the point where people really seem to shy away from it.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a lot of convincing, it feels like anyways, to get people to come for both days. Because we have a lot of people that are totally cool with going for one day and spending a whole day. But when it becomes a whole weekend, it seems to be a different kettle of fish for a lot of people.
Yeah, there was even a couple people that had to leave, but we did have some people come in and take their place. Which is good, so.
Yeah. So early on, you know, he had 32 spots, and he was worried early because it was stuck at like 10 people or something like that signed up for a long time. And I'm like, don't worry, you're gonna sell out. Well, don't worry.
I remember I signed up, and then I made the post on the page where it was like, because I heard that there were some Americans coming up, and I was like, Canadians, we must rally to stop this invading force.
That was before we even knew that they were going to have the Games Workshop trophies.
Yeah.
So he ended up getting a few more people, but all the time he was working hard and posting things every week about like new prizes, and he's really good at engaging support.
Yes.
Right? So he was able to bring in a large amount of prizing for the event, and then he got the news that he was going to get the trophies from GW, like the ring trophies.
That was really cool.
Yeah, which was amazing.
Then
probably about a good half a dozen people at least, I think, signed up right after that.
Yeah.
And it all of a sudden
changed their list.
Yeah, and then it all of a sudden got more serious because people knew that they'd be fighting for one of those.
Yeah, I know there's people from other events at the tournament, like at TGX, that were coming through and seeing this group of Hobbit players, but seeing the trophies and being absolutely blown away that.
Well, I don't know, like, we went upstairs and looked at the upstairs room, which had, mainly it was 40K, right? And then, was it War Machine and Hordes, or?
There was a couple tables for that, I think.
And then Infinity was there, Ash Barker was there running Infinity. And we did see some tables for Blood Bowl. I didn't actually see anyone playing it, though.
No, there's also a couple tables had been set up for Guild Ball.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if they were running an event or not.
Okay.
I think a lot of the people that play like 40K and that play those same games, so
they may have just been tables for pickup games or whatever. Okay.
Or like during the night if you wanted to play a game.
But I noticed when we went up there, or rather I didn't notice, like downstairs, Adam and the other guys, Taylor and Lewis, they had set up a prize table, like as eye candy, and it looked amazing.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
The 40K one was just inside the door to the right.
Okay, I didn't see
There was a table. It was it was a lot of box product.
Okay.
Product.
Right. Yeah.
And it was there was a couple trophies.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of it was just sealed.
But as usual, like the Lord of the Rings tournament and terrain, by far the nicest thing. And so almost every convention that I've ever been to has been that way. Yeah,
it's kind of like our games thing.
Yeah.
You go to these tournaments and like, what? People play the Hobbit? And why are you playing on tables that are absolutely gorgeous?
I know. Like, and they were, like, the terrain there was remarkable. Like, there's a lot of really nice terrain.
I think when you have something that's been shown to you before, like in the movies, and you've visually seen that place, it's really easy to build a table based on that because you have something to work on.
Exactly.
Like other games, it's like, oh, you're playing on a barren planet that's been fought over for the
some
last
of the
10,000 years.
Some of the 40K terrain was nice.
Yeah.
But some of it left a lot to be desired. Like it was like the real super basic stuff. And we don't have anything like that in our tournaments anymore because like a lot of people can bring terrain now.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of get to pick and choose the best stuff.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Like we each have at least a table each, and then we've got like a community table.
And the stuff we bring to the tournament, like I have a box that's permanently packed to bring to a tournament, and like at that tournament, it was by far the worst table.
Oh, definitely.
There, but like it's decent stuff. Like it's better than probably the majority of the 40K terrain.
Yeah.
But like I was looking at the table around, I was like, oh man, I'm feeling kind of embarrassed because the stuff that I brought.
I'm glad there's no worst terrain award.
Yeah. But again, it's good terrain.
It is.
It's decent stuff.
No, for sure.
So yeah, that was good. But did Adam tell you that when I guess Lionel is the name of the guy that runs TGX, and he said to Adam afterwards, he says, I got to be honest, I expected you were gonna get like 8 people.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, and it was 28 people, so he was like shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is good because again, it's like people just don't know that we have such a strong community.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, even just today, like I was at a Games Workshop for an event for a different game. And
Shadespire, you can say the name.
Yeah, okay, I didn't know if I was allowed. I was at a Shadespire tournament and I was talking to people, and Antonio was there as well, and we were talking with some other guys about how there's a new box set coming in. Like, what, that game, I thought it died and went to game heaven where no one ever finds it anymore. It's like, no man, there's brand new rules and armies and a new starter box coming out. Like, wow, that's cool.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the starter box at the end and the Flotsam and Jetsam, so we'll leave that. That's cool that Tony was there playing. Did you know he was going? Or?
No, I just showed up and I walked in the door and he was sitting there. I was like, hey man, what's it going?
That's awesome. Okay, so what did you bring to Desolation of Toronto in the end? Because I know you were talking about a couple of lists.
Yeah, I was throwing around a few lists. I ended up taking Army of Thror.
Right on.
My new most favorite army.
Yeah.
Even though it has no spellcasting whatsoever, it's just dudes and boots on the ground.
Yeah, with defense 6 and higher.
Yeah, because I had come over to your house the Friday night and we were talking about the points value, and people are probably going to be
1,000 points.
Yeah, 1,000 points. People are going to be using big monsters in that, and how my Harad force doesn't really like being thrown around because they're low defense. It makes it really easy for them to get killed by the strength 3 hurls.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm going to take the anti-hurl list. I think I had 57 guys.
Yeah.
Which is a lot. That's a lot of dwarves.
Yeah. How many heroes?
5.
5 heroes?
It was Thror, young Thorin, young Dwalin, young Balin, and a captain. An air war captain. With no upgrades, but like no shield, but still, it was fun. And then I had like 35 Grimhammers, 12 guys with spear and shield, like 12 airborne warriors with spear and shield, 4 airborne warriors with shield and an axe, and then 1 with a shield and a banner, which was influential in a couple of my games.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay, well, we'll talk about how you did as we go through the games. For myself, I committed early that I was just going to bring Isengard because I'm bringing it to Nova, so I thought it would be easy for me. But then I got into like, am I taking this? Am I taking that?
We all did. And then the trophies threw another monkey wrench.
And I knew I was going single faction also. And like in every time in high point value games, I always struggle to justify taking Saruman out of the Isengard list. Just because he's 180 points mounted, which is the cost of an entire warband with a hero for Uruk-hai.
Wizards are worth a warband.
I don't know.
Actually, well, I didn't take any wizards, so...
Yeah, well, I mean, I ended up taking a shaman. I didn't take Saruman, so I can't say I didn't take a wizard, but it was just a shaman.
Yeah.
But in this, like, we already knew there was going to be a lot of people, or a bunch of people, taking multiple ring wraiths.
Yeah.
And 180 point character is a lot of points to just be sap-willed and your staff is broken, and it's like, great.
Awesome.
Right?
So now I have a dude that's terrible in combat riding around.
So anyway, in the end, I just took a lot of warriors. I took a captain, I took Vrasku, Lurtz, Mahur, Ugluk, and a shaman.
That's pretty good.
And then I took, what did I take? I took 5 scouts with the Marauder upgrade, 5 ward riders, so that was my fast moving stuff.
Yep.
And then I think I had 12 crossbow pike, and then I had 1 banner. Or no, I ended up going with 2.
Yeah,
that was just something I was flipping back and forth. So I did take 2 actual banners. And then I had approximately like 12 warriors with shields. I think I had 6 ferals, 5 berserkers, like that. So I had 54 models in all.
But what did you take?
Yeah, so the thing that I was humming and hawing about the most in the end, I decided to give it a try. Never played with the siege engine before. So obviously never played with my Uruk ballista or whatever, or assault ballista. So I tried that. I brought the assault ballista as well to see how that would do, because after reading the rules, like, it's one of those things on paper, you know, if things go well, the impact has potential
to be devastating.
Yeah. So I'm like, for 65 points, didn't take the captain, for 65 points, I mean, even if you just get lucky a couple of games and it comes up with a big result, it's gonna be worth it.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll come back to that and see how we did with that.
Sure.
One.
But yeah, we both took a list that was one faction, no allies.
Yeah. Single faction. That's the big thing we're toting right now.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we saw it there too. There was a lot of people with soup lists, and they had cherry picked all the best stuff.
Soup list being like taking a little bit from here and a little bit from there and mixing it all together and making a disgusting soup.
Or an awesome soup, depending on how you look at it.
I think out of all my opponents, the one that had the most, I think it was like 4 or maybe even 5 factions. No, I guess it was 4.
Okay.
But
alright, well, let's go through the games. And again, let's not go crazy with the amount of detail, because there's 6 games. So we'll just
2 of us, so. Okay, we'll just say if we won and who we played.
If there was like maybe a highlight, if there was a highlight. Okay. So you go first on game 1, because I wrote your thing down wrong.
Okay, so my first game was against AJ Satnik, which is Derek's daughter.
Yeah.
And
youngest player, I would assume there.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. And she had a very interesting list.
Yep.
It was a mixture of Mirkwood, like Thranduil's Hall's Mirkwood.
Okay.
And Lothlorien and Mirkwood.
Oh, okay.
And then there's actually a little bit of Wanderers in there as well.
All right.
But it was all themed off of the Frozen Disney movie.
Yeah.
So all of her characters were like...
So there wasn't a Games Workshop model in the whole thing?
No.
Yeah. And
it was all custom.
This is not normal for our scene either. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this be allowed at a tournament.
Yeah.
But like, this is kind of what you have to do to get new people into the game. And plus this event wasn't sold out. Mm-hmm. So like Adam, I think, definitely made the right call in allowing it to have someone new come
I guess
to
they
the
had
game.
Asked Adam if it was allowed, and he allowed it, which is great, because it gets a new player out to the game.
Absolutely.
And, that's what you got to do, is got to get your feet in the door.
Yeah.
And then get their feet in the door, and then that's when you teach them and get them all the rules down. And
so I was gonna ask, because in the army, like, she had a bunch of regular looking stuff and some obvious characters and whatever, but then there was that great big snowman guy, which was on a monster sized base.
Everyone was calling him Marshmallow.
Okay.
In the movie Frozen, one of the sisters creates him as a defender of her fort or something like that.
Okay.
I'm probably getting this all wrong, but his name is Marshmallow.
Okay.
Or this is what people were calling it.
Is it Elsa or I forget their names? I know one's Elsa.
I think it's Elsa. It's the one that has like the magical frozen powers.
Okay.
So yeah, she makes this marshmallow character who's like a big abominable snowman type thing, but massively huge thing. She's using this tree beard.
Oh, was she? Okay.
Yeah, and then she had little snowmen with little blowpipes, and they were wozes.
Oh, okay.
So she had a warband with the tree beard and some wozes.
All right.
Which was pretty cool.
Nice. Nice. And how'd the game go? So this was Lords of Battle.
Yeah, it was Lords of Battle. It was like my guys are all high defense, and I outnumbered her by a lot of models. Because she had kept her leader in the back with the warband. But I ended up winning. Scoring more wounds. The big turning point of the game was when I finally got close enough for Treebeard to charge me. Charged in, grabbed my captain, threw him through a bunch of guys, killed my captain, and killed like 5 guys. Yeah. So what ended up happening is I went from having the 7-point victory thing for more kills to drop it down to 5 because I had lost the
sort of a last gasp. And
yeah.
Right on.
So. Still managed to win that game, but it was fun and got to kill some snowmen.
I played Dane.
Okay.
Yeah, and he had.
Saw his army. Looked.
Yeah, I don't know what faction it would be actually. Would it be like the fiefdoms? I guess. Yeah. Because he had Gandalf on cart, he had Aragorn, he had the twins. King of the Dead, and then as far as troops went, he had Army of the Dead and Rangers. Okay. Yeah, so that was his army. Yeah. In the end, I won. It was a good mission for me because I stood back and fired crossbows for 3/4 of the game.
Yeah, right? It's like we're playing this game, Lords of Battle, and then my opponent has 12 crossbow shots. Is like,
yeah, and
or 14, I guess, in your case.
Yeah, Dane, like, he was the guys had come on Friday night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so like they had been up late and.
Oh.
You know, so he was
he was feeling it.
He was hurting a little bit for the first game, but he's a fun guy to play.
Yeah,
Dane. He's a really fun guy to play.
Definitely.
And this was a game too where I was trying to figure out how this giant crossbow thing worked.
Oh, so you had 12 crossbows and a big crossbow.
Yeah, so for this, the highlight would be like very early in the shooting before he even did he put up blinding light? I forget now. Anyways, I fired a whole pile of crossbows with heroic accuracy, and right away took out one of the twins' horses and wounded him. And then I think on the next turn I killed him.
Oh wow!
Right, with shooting.
Yeah.
Right. So that was good. And then trying to fire the crossbow. So my first shot with the ballista that actually did something. I fired at a guy, I rolled a hit, rolled to scatter, he moved it over, right? And where he moved it, it was going to pass through 2 of my guys to hit his guy. Because it's a direct fire weapon, it's not like a, you know. So I rolled in the way for the first guy. No, I hit the first guy, and he went flying far enough to hit the target that I was shooting at, because it goes 2d6s.
Yeah.
And so, like, I killed the guy that I hit, and I killed my other guy that I hit, because it does a strength 6 hit on what it hits.
It's a big hit.
And then it hit his guy and killed his guy.
Oh, wow.
Right? So my first shot killed 2 of my own guys and 1 of his guys, so I was already in a deficit with that thing.
That's too funny, though.
Yeah.
But, like, we were talking about it, and that thing, like, if you hit the right target with it, it will absolutely.
Well, because unless you have a rule that says you can't be moved, it'll throw you back 2d6. Yeah. So, like, if it hits like a regular dragon, say, it'll throw it back 2d6.
Or a troll.
Yeah, anything.
Yeah, like, oh, I don't like that monster.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna shoot
if it hits something that has a strength 6 or higher, it'll stop it.
Oh, okay.
But what the first target that you hit, it goes flying.
It goes regardless.
Yeah.
And it's not prone.
Not prone.
Fell beast remover.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Cool. So my second game was against Tony. He was playing
Shadespire Tony.
Shadespire Tony.
Yeah.
He's playing a bit of a mixture list. He had Gandalf the White. No, it's actually, I think it was Gandalf the Grey. It was Gandalf the Grey on horse. Aragorn on horse. The twins on horse. Leading some rangers.
So when I was writing this down, I noticed a very similar army to what Dane had, except for the Army of the Dead was replaced in Tony's list with Riders of Rohan.
Yeah, he had Legolas on foot, and then he had Éowyn with I think a full warband of 12 riders.
Yeah.
And then he had I think he had 12 Rangers of the North, or
I forget
whatever
what they
the
were.
Ranger troop
I think he had some Rangers of the North, like singles on
three
foot.
individual ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he had Rangers as well.
Yeah. So this was the Heirlooms of Ages Past, and yeah, it was it's tough. He's got lots of mounted heroes. I think second turn he came on and completely decimated one of my warbands by an objective, and I was hoping to get the objective on the other side of the table. Would have given me a lot better chance, but came down to the last two, kind of close to each other. I think I picked up the wrong one. Like I had made the mistake. If I had picked up or gone for the one that was closest to me, and I had a little bit of guys there, but against some Rangers. But I picked that one up first, and it had not been that one, and it had been the other one, I would have been a lot better off because I had Thor's warband over there. Granted, all his heroes are there, but I think I could have held him off for that one more turn that I needed.
So he found it, or you found it?
I found it.
You found it?
And he ended up claiming it with Legolas and running behind his guys, and then the game ended. And he got like I think he got the full 12. Because he broke me and killed my leader. Okay. And had the objective.
Alright.
So it was an absolutely devastating loss.
So you're on a win and a loss then?
Yeah.
I played Jordan
in
this, Heirlooms.
You guys are playing
what's Devin's last name again? I forget. Moreno?
Yes.
Moreno? Yeah, so it's Devin's brother.
Okay.
Jordan, yeah.
Yeah.
Who I've met before.
Yeah. We met him. We met him
at Nova, and I think he's come up once before with Devin for a tournament. I don't know if I played him or not, but really nice guy.
He was.
Really good guy.
I played him as well.
Yeah, an exceptionally well painted army as well, didn't you think?
Yeah.
It was Gundabad, so it was like pretty much a typical Gundabad. It had Balg, not Azog.
Yeah.
So Azog's Legion.
Yes.
Yeah. Tons of berserkers, warriors, 2 trolls,
2 ogres.
2 ogres. Yeah, so it was Heirlooms. I won. I think it was 9-2. I found it. Can't stand that mission.
No, it's a not fun mission.
Yeah, it was like we all came on in different spots around the board, so it was a pretty diverse deployment, and we had the weather top that that Ben made.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, whatever happens, I don't want it to be in there. I don't want to be fighting.
No, for sure. You don't want to fight
that.
In the thing, yeah.
No. So what he did, and what often happens in this scenario, is that you like don't check one of the counters in your own deployment zone, and you hang on to it.
Yeah.
And the game ends up with 2 people like hanging on to one of the counters.
Yeah, it's usually. I'm not going to check because if I check and it's
so
not
he
the one,
was
you
doing
win the
that,
game.
like he surrounded one of his counters and made it so that it was going to be next to impossible for me to get on it, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Played this enough to know that you like my way of doing it is to like expose it as early as possible.
Yeah. Right?
Because then if you know it's not in your half of the table, you move everybody forward. Right? So there was one in the weather top, and I ran, and he had the deployment on me. He had by far a better deployment.
Yeah.
So I just ran one of my Warg Riders onto the thing and dismounted and checked it and got it. It was it. And then so my following turns I was like ran that guy back behind my line, and that became the game. And it was a big nasty brawl. right? And I did do well with my shooting in there. I probably took out, I'm gonna guess at maybe 4 or 5, 5 berserkers and some odds and sods. Took out Balg's mount before he could get into combat and all that kind of stuff. And we had a big old fight, but I ended up with it 9-2. In that game, the crossbow did very little, or the ballista. It deployed separate from my entire army. So it was, I put it up in the corner on top of the hill, because I figured, well, he's going to have to bring stuff way out of position to deal with it, or I'll just fire it for the whole game.
Yeah.
Right, so I got one shot off, and I killed a berserker, so 15 points.
Yeah.
And then what ended up happening is he ran one of his ogres over to it and dealt with it, right? And then ran that ogre back, but that ogre was like out of the game. So
so it basically
so it's like
65,
so I took a 60 point
points.
model out of the game basically and killed a 15-point model. So I would say that it made its points back in that game, even though it really didn't do much killing.
Yeah.
Right. Which I go on to learn that really the impact of this weapon is not actually what it does on the table, but it's what it does in your opponent's head.
Yeah, psychological warfare.
It really is.
Oh, dude.
So,
just keeping people from moving in one spot.
Yeah.
And if you know that spot's important and you set your thing up,
yeah.
and they don't come near it, it's like.
Yeah.
Even though it's only 65 points, like
it's cheap. It's cheap. The problem I had with it, honestly, in this build, because I had so many men, my guys were always in the way of it.
Yeah.
That was the real problem, right? I couldn't just fire bam, bam, bam every turn, because there was like crowds of my own models in front of it. I'd be killing like 2 or 3 of my own guys every turn.
For my third game, which was to the death, this is the break mission.
Okay, this is the one you get 5 for breaking the guy. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then killing the leader and a banner.
Okay.
I played against Derek Satnick. He's playing Moria and Mordor and Denizens.
Okay, so 3 factions.
Yeah. We played on the table that was the one that was raffled off.
Okay.
And there
had a big castle.
Yeah, big castle
pieces
which
on it.
Kind of made that whole side of the table not worth playing on, because it would have just leaning over and that. So he got to deploy first, and he had set up. Well, I guess we alternated, but there's a building and the castle, and there's 2 like small little choke points, and it's perfect for his army because he has a Shadow Lord and shamans. So what he did is he just set up in those 2 choke points, and then I walked towards him with my dwarves. We killed a couple models from each other's side. He had Durzag, who enrages Shelob, or the Spider Queen, which he did both throughout the course of the game. It didn't really impact the game all that much, and it ended up being a tie. Because we had shot a banner at the end of the game, so it was a 1-1 tie.
So that was it. You didn't break.
There wasn't enough. I got my guys into his lines, and I was slowly grinding them down. But with Fury, he was making a lot of saves, and I'm dwarf, so he needs 6s to wound me.
Yeah.
We were killing each other, and it wasn't fast enough, and then the game ended.
Right.
He had a banner. I had a banner. No one was broken. He couldn't wound my defense 9 leader, who was like basically in the middle of. So
it was like 2 hour and 45-minute game of like fighting in 2 choke points.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So take my numbers and completely eliminate them from the equation.
Yeah.
And.
So like nobody was surrounding anybody or no flanking going on.
No, like if the game had kept going on, he did eventually get some of his wargs, his fell wargs and spiders around the castle, which actually almost won him the game. Like he was very close to killing my banner with a couple wargs, but I had brought some guys back and managed to kill them. It could have been the difference between me tying that and losing it. But I managed
to. It only takes 1 victory point.
Yeah, which is what it would have been. It would have been a 1-0 win for him. But I managed to save my banner, and then we timed out, so it was a 1-1 tie. So I was a win, a loss, and a tie for
Day one.
Day one.
Because 3 games per day.
Yeah.
I played, so this was to the death, I played Tony, who you had already played. So Gandalf, Aragorn, the twins, very similar army to one I'd already played against.
Yeah.
And we played on one of the boards of the, was it Care Andros or?
Yeah, the scenario board.
Yeah, so they made a fantastic board, a 4x12 board, and it was divided up into 3 4x4s, 2 of which were actually used as tables in the tournament. So we played on that, and right away it was like, oh, this is going to be hard to play like a tournament game on. I was fine with it, but I knew Tony wasn't, because it wasn't good at all for cavalry, because it was like a lower part, which was kind of a street, you know, it was decent with some houses, and then there was like an upper part with a lot of buildings, so it was like a lot of buildings on this one, which ended up really cool in the game, but very different and kind of restrictive.
Yeah.
So the way it ended up going was he sort of stood back with his Rohan under blinding light, and across from him I had sort of the bulk of my army, and we were shooting back at each other. We were both doing some damage. And what ended up happening is he started climbing these buildings on the upper section, and he was getting like Legolas and some archers up there shooting down at my guy. Okay. And Legolas, I swear to God, he was killing 2 guys a turn. It was just killing me.
Yeah. And
then on the left-hand side, we had some buildings, and on the other side of the buildings, we ended up having a skirmish. Like Eowyn and a few riders came up, and I was fighting her with like some scouts and some other stuff, which ended up being kind of cool because it ended up drawing in some of the other combatants. So. And then I ended up climbing some guys up on these buildings and shooting back at his guys and all that. And so we ended up starting to damage each other. But, you know, you could tell fairly quickly that the game, like, breaking wasn't going to be a thing in the game. And even though I had prepared this little book for myself, because I always in games, I lose track of the mission objectives, right? Yeah. And we've played these games.
Or the sheet goes missing.
Yeah, we've played these games in this and other systems for so long that you know you have to play the mission. Play the mission, right? And I didn't play the mission. But it ended up in my favor because the whole game I was just thinking about killing his leader and breaking. And, you know, it was like, well, neither is going to happen. But I forgot about the banner part.
Oh, okay.
And I had 2 banners and he had none.
Oh.
Right? And the whole time, I hadn't even thought about it, right? And that's what happened at the end.
Okay.
Was that, you know, we ended up getting into a little bit more fighting towards the end, but the game ended and I won. No banner, so 2-0.
Crazy.
Yeah, so that's how that ends. So we both played Tony on day 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had gone out for dinner that night and...
Yeah, I forget, where did we go the first night?
Swiss Chalet.
Oh, we did, okay.
Typical us.
Yeah.
We of course forgot to tell everybody else and we just left and did it.
Yeah.
But the next day we got up early.
Back. Yeah.
Drove down in the rain.
Right away the second day my back was killing me.
Yeah, I was not feeling good.
Yeah.
Which is a reason why I'm not really fond of 2-dayers, but...
Yeah. Though, did you notice that in this one, they actually brought in 4x4 pieces of plywood, so you weren't actually fighting on like a double wide table, like bending way over?
Yeah, no,
Thank
it was great.
goodness.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I think that's to do with the War Machine, because they're the store that provided that.
Yeah.
Does a lot of that War Machine.
Yeah, because I had thought it was Adam and the guys that brought that, but it wasn't.
No.
It was the event organizers.
They have their stores like the next, like it was a block away from the hotel.
Okay.
So day 2, my first game, hold ground, just get to the center of the table.
So sorry, on day 1 you went a win, a loss, and a draw.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, sorry, I forgot.
Yeah. And I was on.
I forgot to steal. Yeah.
I was on 3 wins, and I was like feeling good about myself.
You were
at this point, and like that night, I was like, you know, I knew I wasn't gonna win, right? Because I was gonna now fight all the tough guys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, no big deal. It's like I'm doing good or whatever. You know, as long as I do okay today, I'll be happy. Just
Yeah.
like don't lose all 3 games or something like that, and it'll be fine.
Yeah,
right?
you'll place in the top.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, or just like I'll feel good about it.
Yeah.
You know.
No, for sure. 3 wins is good on the first day.
It is. Yeah, I
wasn't
happy.
feeling very good about my position.
Yeah, you were down in the dumps because like, oh, it's like I'm already 500, you know, whatever. Yeah. So, anyways, little did we know what was going to happen on day 2.
Yeah, it was like a huge upset.
So who'd you play?
First game, hold ground against Jordan, the guy you played the second game.
Yeah, Jordan Marino.
Yeah. With his list, it was hold ground, so it was Maelstrom setup.
Start in the edge and run to the middle, as
with dwarves.
Green Dragon Jeremy likes to call it.
It actually wasn't that bad. I got all of my guys came on the same spot, which was like amazing.
Yeah, it is for that army. Yeah.
His kind of came on the same spots. Actually, I think I picked and I put him in like a spot that would slow him down to get to the center of the table, which helped me because I'm slow already.
Yeah. Probably meant you got there at the same time.
Yeah, but he had sent a flanking force with both his ogres, Balg, and I think his whole warband of berserkers to kind of swing in behind me.
Yeah.
So I had sent the bulk of my force forward to the center, which they got to, and I had left a captain with a banner and just a bunch of guys holding up a spot. There was a spot where I was able to like plug a hole between 2 buildings. And I managed to slow them up long enough that most of my force was already at the center fighting by the time they punched through, and only a couple guys punched through before he'd realized, oh, it's getting late, and tried to run around the other way. There was a lot of fighting. I can't believe I failed to win a fight against one of the big trolls.
Yeah.
He rolled a 5 highest, and I had higher fight value than him because I had struck up, and I rolled a 4 highest. And then I'm like, I'm going to use Thor's banner. Hopefully this will do it. 4.
I got that beat later
No, he picks up Thorin and chucks him through a bunch of guys. Takes Thorin from 3 wounds, 3 fate to 1 wound.
Oh, yeah.
And I think no fate. 1 wound left. And because he had smashed into a fountain, which was the middle of the table. So I was grateful that he had thrown him closer to the middle, but he also killed 2 or 3 guys that he threw him through. So I was like, oh, this is absolutely devastating. Yeah. I managed to pull out the win though. I think by the end, I had 24 guys close to the middle, and he had 21. So it's close. But I believe I had also broke him. Yeah, because I ended up getting 6 points, so whatever that is. Yeah, I had just enough, and then I'd broken him so for 3. So yeah, I believe that's what happened.
Very good.
I can't remember.
Close enough.
Close enough.
With a margin.
I managed to win my game.
Very good. So, my game, I played Jacob Hall.
Yep.
And I think at the time there was only 2 of us that were on 3 wins.
Yes.
So I kind of knew I was going to play him going into the game, and I knew what he had in his army.
Yeah. And,
we play he had a lot of scary stuff in his army, but we play a lot of armies that have that kind of stuff in them.
Yeah.
Like Ring Race on Felbeast and big nasty monsters and Shelob and all that. And with Hold Ground, I thought, if I can deploy second, I have a good chance of winning.
Yeah.
Because I'll see where he's going, and even though he's way faster than me, I'll be able to shoot.
Yeah.
Right? That was what it came down to. And if he got to the center first, I don't really care. Because I'll just shoot him to pieces and then move in and take him down.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. I deployed first.
Yeah, that stinks.
And so what happens is, his army was Witch King on Felbeast, Undying on Felbeast, which was his leader, and then they were leading 20 to 24 orcs, and then he had, I think, 6 Mirkwood spiders, and I think it was 14 giant spiders, a big number anyways, like that. And then I think that's what he said he's taken to Erdicon. And then in addition to that, he had Shelob and a Cave Drake, which were kind of add-ons to bring it up to 1,000. And of course Shelob is nasty as hell. And so I deployed, and then he did well. Like he had probably 3 warbands that didn't come on.
Yeah.
But they were just like, 2 spiders or whatever. And he was on me like instantaneously, just because all of his guys moved 10, right? And all my guys were in a ramshackle trying to reorganize.
Like, oh, what happened?
Yeah, it was just like, whoa.
There's spiders.
Yeah, and that's how his army works. Like that army, it's all designed around like hurling the other guy's army at himself.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, it was like rough. I haven't been massacred that bad in a long time.
Yeah.
And it was 12-0 for him, so he picked up everything. And for me, it was like, we were probably a third of the way into the game, and it was looking bad. Even my shaman failed to get off his fury.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that it would have lasted, but at least it would have been a spell cast to sap his will. But
yeah.
But yeah, he was just hurling machine, and you know how it is.
Yeah.
But it was a fun game in spite of it, because it was like, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna throw in the towel yet. We're gonna just see how it goes. You know, stuff can happen. But like, I don't think my ballista fired a single shot. The whole game,
probably
because it was just like surrounded by my own guys. Like at the end, I think I just said, "The hell with it, I'm gonna fire." And I tried firing, and just like nothing happened. But it was a good game. Like it ended up for me, it was just I was gonna lose. Halfway into the game, it was inevitable. It was a loss. But I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna try to kill models. That's my objective here, because I had only killed like a handful of models. And I think at the end of the game, because of course I was doing 1 wound on all these spiders on the board, right? But like taking models off the board, I think in the end I killed 6 models.
Yeah.
And he took me down to a man, right?
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, no. It's like, we'll keep playing until the game, because we had lots of time.
Yeah.
Everybody was still playing.
3 hours. Basically.
Yeah, so it was like, I was not gonna give in, because it was like, let's play it out. And my last guy fighting was one berserker, like surrounded by spiders. I was just trying to kill one more model or whatever, and so he went down. So lost that one in a big way, and my winning streak came to a crashing end.
Yeah, it went from 100 miles an hour to 0.
Yeah. Okay, so day 2, game 2.
Yeah, game 5 for the tournament.
Yeah.
It was domination, and I played against Ronan Satnik.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a recurring thing. I played all 3 of them.
Yeah. You played the daughter, the father, and now the son.
Yeah.
Right on.
Derek was their father.
Yes, he was.
Star Wars joke. So I was playing Ronan. He had.
Did he bring the filth?
He is the guy that had 4 different.
It was # don't let Ronan win.
Yeah, it was. We had to stop him. We must bar the gates and not let him through. Yeah, so it was domination, which is objectives. We had set them up. What did he have? So he had. Maybe he did have 5. He had the Goblin Scribe, which was 1.
He had Bert the Troll.
Yeah, so he had Troll, which was the second faction.
Mm-hmm.
He had the Witch King. No, Shadow Lord on horse, with some Mordor guys. And then he had the Shade, which was Angmar.
Yeah.
And then he had Uruk-hai. So he had 5 different factions.
The soupiest of all the soup lists.
He had the carrots, the onions, the potatoes, the celery, and the cheese.
He had it all.
He had it all.
Yeah. But he had already like lost a game and tied a game or something.
Well, I think we were close to the same record.
Yeah, you had.
We were on 2 wins each and a loss and a tie.
Yeah. Okay.
Because he had lost to Drew, the first game, I believe. The first game of the day he played Drew.
Okay.
And had lost that game to him. So, I hate the Shade. I think it's a dumb model. That's all I'm going to say. Oh, and Bert. The guy where it's like, I just have to be in the combat and I sneeze on you and get transfixed for free. I was like, what? This is like your whole army is stuff that just automatically happens and I can't stop it. Now it's so frustrated all game because of it.
Yeah.
Like, the Shade brings out
Well, at least domination is harder for the shade.
Yeah, that's actually kind of what helped me, because I had spread my guys out in such a huge long line.
Yeah.
He had him in the middle, but you can only do so much with that guy.
It's like in that game, it's like, haha, I don't actually have to run and attack your line.
And I was playing Dwarves. Most of his stuff was Uruk-hai, so it was strong. But it ended up with me holding 2 objectives.
Mm-hmm.
I had a bunch of guys running towards his Goblin Scribe who had brought on, like, I don't know, like 8 goblins to help him defend it. So he had that objective. The middle one was contested, but I have 100 dwarves or whatever, not 100, but I had a lot of dwarves in that area because that's where Thror was. So I claimed that objective, and then the other one was over on the kind of my right hand side, and he had Bert like right there, but I had more dwarves around it. It's just the sheer number of guys is what won me that game. Because if it wasn't for that, he would have had 4 points to my 4, and it would have been a tie. Because neither of us was broken, and neither of our leaders were killed.
Right.
So
you won.
I ended up winning.
You don't know the score.
I think it was 6-3. No, 6-2. I had 2. Yeah, it was 6-2.
I played Joseph Hanlon.
Okay.
And it was on a board, kind of a typical board with just like, some spotty ruins and stuff.
Yeah.
So Joseph had, it was kind of a soupy list. It was Saruman on foot, like Saruman the White, Legolas with cloak on foot, Thranduil, Magic Hat Thranduil, King's Champion. Not sure if he had maybe a captain in there somewhere, but he had like Durin's folk dwarves, all with shield.
Yeah.
And backed up with elves with spears. So they were either like wood elves with bows, and or guard of the Galadrim court
with the pikes. Yeah.
With the pikes. So I made a mistake right at the beginning of the game. Deployment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like Uruk-hai may have been created to like end the world of man, but they were not created to end the world of dwarves and elves.
No.
No. It's quite the opposite, in fact.
Yeah.
So dwarves backed up by elves, so defense 7 wall with fight 5 backup is pretty well designed to kill it. And like all this stuff mostly is strength 3, but like probably 60% of the average Uruk-hai army is defense 5.
Yeah.
So he's wounding on a lot on 5, and I'm wounding on 6s.
Oh, I know what that's all about.
Yeah. So the game actually started turn 1, and he rolled exceptionally poor right off the bat for probably the first half a dozen combats. And I'm like dead, and it was like, oh my god, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Right? And then the rest of it was just like the opposite, and he quickly caught up. And then turn 2 and 3, it was like
done.
Yeah, it was like he was killing probably 2/3 to my 1/3. So by the end of turn 3, it was like I was near on break. He ended up winning, but it was only 6-3. Oh. It was like I sort of hung in there, and I claimed 1 objective solely. He claimed 1 objective solely, and then I think he had. No, I guess he must have claimed 2.
Yeah,
he would have had the minimum. Or the middle one. And then he had 1 which I had contested at the back with my Warg Riders, and then he there was another one on my side where my crossbow was. I think that was contested by both of us.
Also neither of you killed or wounded leader or...
I killed his leader.
Oh, so that's where you got your points.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's only 1 point, I think, in that mission.
Yes.
For either wounding or killing.
There's 10 points tied up in, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, he won the game, but the high point of the game for me, which is what I'll focus on here,
okay.
is that, so he had Legolas with cloak, so it was like I wasn't going to touch him. But for some reason he just decided he was going to charge him into the combat, I think on turn 1, or maybe it was turn 2.
Yeah.
And I had my line, like shield guys in front,
yeah,
pikes and crossbows in the back. And he charged right into the line, along with a bunch of other of his guys. And I had Vrasku standing at the back, right there. and came to shooting phase, and he's like, "Are you gonna shoot anything?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna fire all of this stuff at Legolas, who was in combat with the front rank."
Yeah.
Right. And I think I had 3 crossbows and Vrasku, who was back, like he was kind of the 3rd rank back, and I said, "Yep, heroic accuracy, everything at Legolas," right? And I damn near killed him.
Oh.
Right? Yeah.
Heroic accuracy is awesome.
It caught him by surprise,
Yeah.
big time. And so I fired my first crossbow shot. I fired, hits, like he was firing directly into the combat, in the way, hits you, wounds. First shot, first fate, fail. Second fate, fail. Right? And I forget if he has, does he have 3 fate?
It's 3, yeah.
Yeah. I forget what happened. He used 2 fate at least and a point of might.
Yeah.
Right, to pass maybe the second fate. I forget.
Okay.
And I fired more stuff into him, and it was looking like I was gonna kill him. And I fired Vrasku, and I hit with both, which is highly unusual.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Right? Both went through my guys.
Yeah.
Both ended up with the rerolls. Both ended up hitting Legolas, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, I'm gonna kill him here." Snake eyes. I was like, "Oh my god!"
All that rolling too, just to roll snake eyes.
I only had 1 more point of might left.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I was like, "Oh," but in the end, like a couple of turns later, I ended up actually charging him with Vrasku and struck up and killed him.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so that was I got his general, but it figures it was the game that it's only worth 1 point.
Yeah.
So, anyway, but it was a fun game.
And then what do? We went on to game 6, which was Reconnoiter.
So you've won both games on Sunday.
I know.
Now, right?
Crazy.
And I've lost both
on
Sunday. So I'm now 3 wins, 2 losses. And
are
you at? 3 wins, a loss,
stolen
and a
all your
tie.
mojo.
You had.
So I was on 3 wins, a tie, and a loss.
And we were told that in game 6, you may end up having to fight somebody that you'd already fought before, because up until then they would move stuff around, so that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But on game 6, what you get is what you get.
Yeah, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
I think like 4 or 5 tables it ended up happening on.
Yeah.
I know Drew and Joseph had to play for the top table spot. And in the final game.
Okay.
Game 6 they were playing for the win of the tournament.
No.
Huh?
No. Drew played Jacob.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Not on the 6th game.
Yep.
No. Jacob and Devin played because they were right beside me in the final game.
No. Jacob and Devin played game 5. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Who did you end up playing in game 6?
Derek. Same guy who played last game the day before.
Okay.
And
this was Reconnoiter.
Yeah. And I'm dwarves.
You are.
All my stuff came on
He's
the first
goblins,
turn.
though.
Yeah,
he
he's
had goblins.
No, I think the only thing that saved me, I ended up winning the game, was I got 3 guys off in the last turn. Because then they're like, okay guys, finish your turn. And he had already started moving. So I was like, oh, well, I guess I got to move my guys off the table.
Yeah.
And then we wouldn't have had time to get another turn. But if we did, he wouldn't have got any guys off. And I would have had like 8 more guys run off the table. So I managed to win that one 7-0. What saved me, though, was his Denizen warband, and I think 2 of his other warbands. No, his Denizen warband and his Leader's warband didn't come on for 2 turns. And then the Denizen only came on the 4th turn because they automatically come on the 4th turn.
Right.
So...
And you are right, Drew did play...
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm right.
Yeah, he played... yeah, because I remember I was playing Joseph, and we were like, let's finish our game so we can go and watch those guys play.
He played Jacob the 5th game, because he had just played... those guys were the only ones that were on 4 wins and...
Well, Drew was on 3 wins and a draw, and Jacob was on 4 wins.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. So they were the high, and they were in the corner. But anyway, so for my game, I basically walled off his guys from getting through. We were playing on like a beautiful table that Adam had commissioned from, I think it was Greenleaf Terrain. Mm-hmm. But the buildings were all like rubble buildings. So I basically walled off this section of guys, and had my warband like running up the edge of the table, going, "Come on, guys, we can make it." No hero, because I'd run Dwalin to help join the fight, and then I had Thorin and his warband on the other side, and I choked his stuff up at another building.
Okay.
And he had Shelob and a warband of guys, and I think a bat swarm or two there. And yeah, I held him up long enough that he couldn't punch through. He did eventually get through, but at that point the game was, it was like, okay, this is your last turn, guys. And he was still probably 18 inches away from the table.
Yeah, because I came over and looked at your game at one point, probably mid-game, and like he looked like he had kind of, I don't know if you had boxed him in, but he was kind of in like a defensive, almost like corner camp kind of.
Well, it's because he had been delayed coming on for so long that his guys just weren't able, and he doesn't have the might to march, because I think he has 1, 2, 3, 4. He has like 6 might in his whole army.
So it's not a very mighty.
And 2 of that he uses to
enrage.
No, cast Fury.
Fury. Yeah.
So he has like a huge Fury bubble, like a Fury zone.
He's got 2 shaman.
And then his other 2 might are reserved to make sure that enrage whatever goes off, Sheila, or Spider Queen, or Giant Spider. But yeah, I managed to block him for the side, and my guys managed to get off the table, and so I won by getting 3 guys off. Neither of us broke each other, and nobody wounded the leader, which is pretty much.
So Saturday you were 3 wins, or Sunday rather.
I won the game based on the scenario.
Playing the
scenario. Yeah.
Played the scenario. I actually got drawn up against Steve Stokes in the last game.
Okay.
But Chris Streets, who came with us.
Yeah. Drove down with us on Sunday.
Yeah, he had just played Laura Fleck.
Okay.
And got drawn again as Laura Fleck.
Yeah.
Against
like,
Laura Fleck. We all had the same record.
Yeah.
Pretty well. And so, like, I went up to Adam and said, look, it's like Chris just played her.
Yeah.
And, you know, I haven't played her, and we have the same record. Can, like, I play her, and, like, he can play Steve, so that at least we play different people. And like, okay. So the
truth is, you just didn't want to play against 2 whirly burlies or whatever.
Actually, I wouldn't have minded playing that army.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have minded playing against that army.
Yeah.
In terms of like a competitive thing, but at this point, it was like.
Yeah, whatever.
My dreams. Dreams had been shattered beyond recognition by this point. So I played Laura in Reconnoiter.
Yeah.
And. Really lovely person to play a game against.
Well, she won. We'll get to that later. I spoiled it. Oh, yeah. Spoilers.
She had an Easterling army.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty cool.
She had told me that she had worked on the painting with her husband on and all, and they had borrowed Camul on Fellbeast from a local player, so she could get it up to like 1,000 points. So yeah, she had Camul on Fellbeast, and then just a really like a full-on
pike wall
Easterling. She had like pike, she had like a unit of archers, she had the cataphracts, she had everything, like a good cross section of that army. I failed again in this one, despite my little notebook. I did not write down that you can spend might on the roll.
Oh no!
Right, and so on the first turn I have 6 units. 2 came on the board, right, and she rolled bad too. So I think she had 2 come on.
Yeah.
And it ended up like my stuff was just not coming on. Right?
Yeah.
And like one of them was the shaman unit anyway, so I probably wouldn't have spent the might. But it ended up that my last units, 2 of them came on turn 4 because they had to by then.
Yeah.
And like her army was long since all deployed, and the fighting was all in my half of the table
and
now.
If you're waiting to automatically come on, you've already that unit's pretty much useless.
And the way Reconnoiter works, even in a 2-hour, 45-minute game, is like if your stuff does not come on turn 1, it's probably not getting off the table unless it's cavalry or has a drummer or
some way of getting faster.
Tons of might to march.
Yeah.
And if it comes on turn 3, pretty much forget about it, whatever it is, because by then you're on the complete defensive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like my dwarves all came on the first turn, and I only managed to get 3 off.
Yeah. So that game was one where I was like, okay, my stuff, I've got units with crossbows here, and I formed a firing line right in the center of the table, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to take down the Fell Beast, because it's very possible with a good volley of crossbow shots. And that's what happened. She had Camul like kind of in the center of the board, and I'm like, okay, here we go. Heroic accuracy, everything at the Fell Beast, and I hit it like a whole bunch of times with the Fell Beast, like probably 5 or 6 times with Vrasku and everybody else.
Yeah.
And I'm like, awesome, this is great. Okay, I'm firing at her, and she's like, oh, it's an armored Fell Beast, and I'm like, oh.
What?
Right?
Nobody takes those.
I know. It was like, what? An armored Fell Beast? What?
Hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
Dash.
And so of course it was like ting 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 ting. Not one wound on it. It was like, oh.
That's hilarious.
I know.
Yeah. Because
like,
we're so used to like, oh, shrink 6, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Wound him on 5s.
No, was not to be. And anyway, it ended off that neither of us got anybody off the board in the end, because we were all like, she almost got guys off the board by running through a ruin.
Yeah.
And I just, with between shooting and like running to intercept them, I managed to corral them. But the highlight was she had flown Camul up on top of a ruin, and then on the following turn had jumped down kind of behind my ranks.
Yeah.
And you know, I immediately my shaman was right there, so I had fury, and we all just like charged the Fell Beast, and I literally had it surrounded by 10 guys, pikes, berserkers. My captain, who was my general, was in there with like a 2-handed axe.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is it. And so, she's been playing, I think, for a year, but, still kind of learning the rules a bit. And I'm no fantastic rules guy either, but so we got into a discussion, okay, this is how striking up works, and blah, 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 and we both struck up.
Yeah.
And I'm going by memory here, so this might be wrong, but I think I rolled a 2 and she rolled a 1, something like that. So I had high fight.
Yeah.
She rolled her dice, boop, and I believe she rolled a 5, highest. And I'm like, I got this.
15 dice?
Yeah, I got 15 attacks here. Yeah. No might, because I used my last point of might to strike.
Is there a banner nearby?
I had the banner right there, right?
Yeah, so
and
16
I rolled.
rolls, yeah.
Boom! 4 highest.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, reroll? Nope.
Yeah, I had the same thing happen against a monster.
Yeah, so she won, and so of course I figured, what are the odds? Like, I can even bring my general into the fight, because it's like, it's almost next to impossible for me to lose. She hurled my general, hit a few guys, I don't know, she probably killed 1 or 2. And did a wound to my general. So I was like, ugh, that's a victory point.
Yeah.
Right, and then, I did on the following turn, or the one after that, manage to kill Camul with the same thing. Because eventually, I think I attacked her again and she won.
Okay.
And then I attacked her again and I finally won and killed them. But by then it was over. Nobody was getting off. Nobody was getting broken. Nobody was nothing.
But she had a wound on you.
My guy was wounded, and her leader was hidden in a spot where it was one of those choke points at the side, and I couldn't get back in there with enough time to. I was like, oh.
1-0.
Yeah, so I lost 1-0 in the last game, but it was a really fun game, and it was a laid back, good game. Really, it ended the tournament off on a good note, even though it was a loss, because it was a good one to end the tournament with.
Good.
Yeah, so that was it. My day 2 was like.
So you went
0-3, 3-0 and 0-3.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got the prize winners, or the winners here. So, they gave it a lot of prizes.
They did. Well, like, we're just going to read the ones for the placings, but they had a raffle as well. And they raffled off an entire table of terrain with a mat.
Yeah.
Which, like,
you had to buy separate tickets for.
Yeah.
Which we did.
I bought $20 worth of tickets. Didn't win. But then they had tons of other raffle prizes as well.
Yeah.
On top of this.
So there's the all-important wooden spoon. You came out, you had a good time, you didn't win a lot, but you had a good time.
Yeah.
Here's your participation prize.
Yeah.
But it's actually a good prize. And actually AJ won it.
Yep.
Yeah. So
with her Disney themed
yeah.
army.
Frozen Disney theme, yeah. Which is cool.
Yeah, I forget what she won, but I have a picture of it, but I don't know if it shows the prize.
They ended up taking a white box, so it was some kind of model.
So it was miniatures. Yeah, because they had 6 of the big
I think it was the
miniatures.
Urukai Ballista
Was
that
it?
they had one up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she now knows all about the Urukai Ballista and how it does.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go. Best Painted Evil went to Justin Bertrand.
Yep, he had
an Angmar force.
Is it pure Angmar?
Yep. And he had a shade, and that was the only army. I walked up and I shook his hand. I said, "Congratulations, you're the only person."
Yeah, well, that was he's going to Articon.
Oh yeah. And that's
he's bringing that army, yeah. And nice army.
Yeah.
And he has like Berdur, the shade. He's got all of the.
It's a legit.
It's the
force.
It's the legit Angmar fishing trip army.
Yeah.
Right. It's with the shade bubble.
Yeah.
And the like. Pulling people in for the trolls to murder.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Angmar fishing trip.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good name for it.
Yeah.
Best Painted Good went to Michael Campbell.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna splice in a little video here that I shot of his display board. I'd never seen its equal at a Lord of the Rings tournament.
It was like high-end terrain quality.
Ridiculous
display board.
Yeah, it was so nice, and you'll see in the pictures in the video here. But like that thing was made. I'm gonna get it out of this cover. That thing was made out of like pink foam insulation. Can you believe that? It was made out of this stuff.
No way.
It was.
Really?
Yeah. He carved it all out of there and like carved all the brickwork and everything.
Oh.
Can
that
you
makes
believe
it
that?
I thought it was like a sheet of something.
No.
Wow.
He did it all. Like carved all the bricks and everything.
Totally worth the prize then.
Yeah.
Like,
and
hands down.
And I didn't play him, so I didn't actually get to get a close look at his models.
Yeah.
But Adam took a picture, which I'm going to put up here, and you can see all the conversion work that went into his army and the detail painting he's got. Like,
well, I think we had when we were having dinner Sunday night, he had mentioned that he had spent a lot of time and a lot of man hours painting that army.
Yeah.
And like stripping it down and then repainting again, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it totally was worth it. Obviously,
he had me in stitches at that dinner. That guy is just so funny.
He is.
He's got such a good dry sense of humor. It's just like oh man. This is Michael Campbell's board. He made it for this tournament, a bridge over a river. Just incredible. With his doll Amroth.
We have 4th place here. I think it's just
I'll announce this one.
Gimme, yeah.
Okay, so it's 1st, 2nd, and 3rd got the trophies, but we're going 4th place because
the runner-up.
You're strong Sunday with 3 wins. So you ended up 4 wins, a tie, and a loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
it was crazy.
You came in 4th.
And
with single faction.
Yeah.
No magic.
No magic. I was the only person in the top 5 players that didn't have 2 wizards.
Really?
Yes. All the rest of the other 4 guys had 2 wizards minimum.
Yeah.
And I was the only person in the top 10 that didn't have a single wizard.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good. So you can do it without a wizard.
So don't bring wizards because you don't need them.
Well, I don't know.
Well, obviously we don't.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens when the new rulebook comes out.
I'm supposed to say this to get people so they don't bring wizards. Or Felbies, at least.
I got wrecked by wizards.
Yeah.
Well, no, I didn't get wrecked by wizards. I got wrecked by Felbies.
So, anyway, that was my...
So, yeah, you came in an honorable mention 4th.
Yeah, a runner-up. But the funny thing was, when he drew the raffle tickets for prizes, after all the other people had got their prize, my name was the first one drawn. So I was like, oh, yeah, nice.
Right on.
Third place, the guy that beat me,
and
based on 6 victory point difference, I think is what it was, between the two of us, was Joseph Hanlon.
Did he have the same record as you?
Yeah, we had the same record, but he had 6 more VPs.
He out VP'd you?
Yeah.
Joseph Hanlon?
Joseph Hanlon. Second place, Jacob Hall.
Jacob. So, just rewinding a little bit, Game 5 was really ended up being for the tournament.
Yes.
Because it was Drew on 3 wins and a draw against Jacob on
with 4 wins. Yeah.
And Drew won the game. It was close.
Yeah.
But Drew won the game, which put him at 4 wins and a draw and gave Jacob a loss.
Yeah, so he was 4 wins and a loss.
He was 4 wins and a loss. And I think they both then won their 6th game.
Yeah. But
Jacob played Devon, right?
At that point, Joseph was also on 4 wins and a tie.
Well, Drew played Joseph in the last game.
In the last game, yeah.
Yeah. And he won it on the last turn.
Yeah.
By running some guys off the table.
Yeah. Which is typical of Reconnoiter.
Yeah.
So, Drew ended up winning.
Yep. That's good, though. Keep the trophy, the gold medal trophy.
Us Newmarket boys gotta represent.
That's right.
Plus, we kept the gold in Newmarket, or Canada, yeah. Yeah, no, it was good. He won Eowyn sword, or is it? I think actually, if you look at
Arwen.
Arwen sword. But if you look at it, it's the same sword that Elrond uses in the fight when he's fighting in Mirkwood or
the
Dol Guldur.
Dol Guldur, yeah. I think
the sword looks familiar. Like it looks like it's the same sword. So maybe they have the same sword. It's father and daughter.
He won the best 2 things on the trophy table.
Yeah, the golden trophy and the sword.
And the sword. Yeah, like friggin' guy.
Yeah.
That's
Can't
good
stop
for
him.
So the thing was, though, that going into the tournament, we have been like riding him like mercilessly.
3 weeks it took me.
Yeah, not only you, I was doing it too.
Yeah.
We were both. You started it, but
berating him.
I jumped on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
For the not going with single faction because he was taking a shade.
Yeah.
And we were just gonna shame him with the shame bell.
Well, I had a bell.
Yeah.
I bought a bell. Yeah. For a lot of people that don't watch
I guess I don't know. I guess we got under his skin.
Yeah.
And he must have started feeling bad about it, and so he. What did he take out of his army? Because he took out the shade and something else.
There's a shade in. Yeah, it must not have been Spectres because he ended up.
There was a little bit of other points too because he ended up putting in Shelob, which is like, okay, wow, you're trading one thing.
I think that's all he did is he traded out the shade for Shelob.
Okay.
And maybe like another guy, or orc.
Yeah.
An orc or something.
So, but it's still like Shelob is arguably just as nasty and broken as a shade is, but at least it's still single faction. So good for him.
Yes.
So the army that ended up winning, although it did have 3 ring wraiths on fell beasts in it, it was single faction at least.
It was single faction.
Yeah.
It was pure west.
And now he's looking at dropping the fell beasts because again, I think we're just like.
Yeah. Like, you want a big event with Felbeast, now you gotta do something else. And then if he wins with that, it's just like, this guy's hands down. Can't stop him.
Yeah.
But then again, it's another tournament that I didn't play him.
I didn't play him either.
I know, it's weird.
That would have been the game that my ballista would have nailed the Felbeast.
Yeah, you would hit like 2 Felbeasts and knocked them down or something.
Yeah. Actually, I was talking to, I think it was Steve Stokes. He had the 2 Twirly Whirlies at Iron Hills, and he actually shot and killed Shelob, not in Drew's army, but someone else's with a single shot.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow, that's cool.
Boom, dead. Take it off. So that was the tournament, and Blackfyre Productions has already been asked by TGX to come back again next year.
Cool.
And
no, like it's good.
Yeah, it was really good.
They ran a really good tournament.
And they're aiming to get 40 players.
They'll easily do that.
Yeah, I think so. Based on how good it was this year, I think everybody that went this year is going to go back again. Well,
the other thing is we've got a new. There's a new game coming out.
Yeah.
It's going to reignite the hobby, as Blackfyre says.
Yeah, ignite your hobby. Yeah. So that's great. That'll be something to look forward to in our calendar, like a 2-day event, like a real strong one. So
yeah,
looking forward to that
very
already.
Cool. We need to have well, we've got these guys doing this now. We need a big Canadian event.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, I think like this event here could turn into a big Canadian event.
Yep.
Like
we need a convention that will grow.
Yeah, the convention itself was kind of small.
It was.
Honestly. And it was really shocking that there was no Age of Sigmar there. And I think it really comes down to either A, they didn't have the space, or B, they had nobody that wanted to run it.
Half of the hotel, the convention side of it, like convention halls, was under construction.
Oh yeah, the back part.
I think at some point Adam had said that it was under construction, and if it hadn't have been, we all would have been in the same room. So
I'm glad we weren't.
I'm so glad we weren't. Because at one point we went up to the 40K room, and like probably 2/3 of the people were still playing, and it was impossible to hear people talking.
Yeah, I like.
I
remember those days of playing in like a room with 100 people.
Well, it's like Nova 2
yeah.
years ago, and Articon last year for me. Like it's hard. Like your throat is so sore at the end of the day, but. Yeah, no, it was a very good run tournament. I really enjoyed it. I will definitely be supporting it next year.
Me too.
Yeah, thanks guys for running that, and
great job.
Taking the weekend out of your own time to do that. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
What's next?
Not for us, but the next big thing. Articon's happening.
Articon?
In a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we have like a bunch of people, and I don't know who they all are. I know Justin Bertrand's going. I know Taylor Sinstad's going. Other than that, I'm not 100% sure on the rest.
Andrew, Captain.
I think Andrew Barbazan's going, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I think there's like 6 maybe.
Yeah.
From Canada that
That's
are going.
Cool.
Well, from our
she have
part
like
of Canada.
A full Canadian team going.
Yeah. Yeah, like at one
point.
Oh,
Evan's going too, yeah.
Yeah,
Evan's going, yeah.
At one point, it looked like there was going to be like 9 to 12 people possibly going.
Yeah.
And it was like slowly people drop. Like Adam was going to go.
Yeah.
But then he had to drop off just because of whatever.
Other reasons, yeah.
Yeah, reasons or whatever. But
so, yeah, Articon's coming up. That's going to be a big one. I think
Yeah.
they have like around 180 people. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what the number was.
it'll be bigger than last year then.
Yeah, well, last year was 100.
Well, this year I know in Articon, because Andreas was early on, he was hammering the international side. He was, I think, in charge of getting the international.
Yeah.
And I think it filled up, like.
Yeah, all the international tickets sold. Because they wanted to have a certain number set aside for international people.
Yeah.
So that the locals wouldn't just gobble up the tickets first. Right?
Yeah.
So
that's great. That'll be
cool.
that'll be good to hear all the stories coming out of that.
Unfortunately can't go there,
Yeah.
but
well, it's an expensive journey.
a lot of stuff's happening this year. So.
Yeah, I know. August is crazy busy for like just in the hobby, let alone anything else.
Well, that same weekend.
Yeah, we have a tournament.
There's a local tournament here.
Local tournament. Yeah.
It's happening in Peterborough.
Mm-hmm.
It's put on by Travis and Chris.
Yeah.
2 members of the league. They usually run the tournament out that way. It's August 18th.
Fly to Peterborough,
Fly
you
to
fools.
Peterborough, you fools. Fly, you fools.
That's what it's
We're
called.
going to ride Eagles and fly in, and then win because we're on Eagles, right?
Yeah.
That's the way it works, according to Josh. It's like, why would I even play that game? The Eagles just win all the time.
Yeah, but unfortunately in the game, that's just not true.
Yeah, and it is. The Eagles suck.
Yeah. 750?
750. So, a lot of people are bringing their Articon list to this.
And Nova.
Sorry, Nova list.
Yeah.
Is what I meant to say.
What is Articon? Point-wise.
700.
Okay. So you could still... Well, actually, you would be in Articon.
Yeah, you'd be there. You'd be participating.
Yeah, so it's 4 games.
Nova practice.
4 games, 2 hours per game, 750 points. 4 model minimum, thank goodness.
2 hours each.
And...
Game.
Only 1 comp, and that is, 4 model minimum, and the 0 point golem is banned. So
there's no restriction on faction factions, because Nova you're maximum 2.
True.
So, but still, I think they adjusted the points because they weren't going to be 750. They were going to be 700.
Everybody that goes to that's going to Nova is going to bring their Nova list. Let's face it, right?
So,
the only thing is I'm not sure if I can go.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna say I'm not gonna go. It's just that August is like every weekend except that weekend. I have stuff going on.
Yeah.
So it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like the weekend before is like
our big convention.
Our games club has our mini con
yeah.
here in Newmarket, so we're gonna be there, and then the weekend after that, like Angela and I are doing something.
The weekend
together.
Before we leave to go to Nova.
Yeah, and then we got Nova right after, so it's like
it's busy weekend.
Could be a hard sell, but I'm gonna try to go because it's like I want to go. It's fairly close to us, right?
Yeah.
And it would be good practice for Nova, and good chance to get some league points. Yep. Seeing as I didn't do as good as I wanted in the last one. But like all the top dogs are going to that tournament, so it's going to be hard to scrounge some points out of there. Like
I gotta go and I gotta test the 750.
The 750
thrower list.
Right on.
Because I think I've settled on that being my Nova.
Okay.
I'm gonna go single faction.
All right, let's move on to some flotsam and jetsam.
Okay. Let's not make this like a 50-minute long.
We're running out of card space, I think. So
yeah, we got 20 minutes. Okay, so 10
brief.
minutes. Let's make it quick. What are we talking about?
Well, the new box set is coming out, and we know how awesome that is, and we know what's in it. It's Rohan, it's Army of the Dead.
Yeah.
It's Moran and Orcs by the Hordes.
Troll.
It's a troll.
It's Fell Beast.
It's a Fell Beast, and
Rulebook.
It's the new model of Theoden.
Theoden. Mounted and on foot.
Yeah, so I'm gonna buy it.
Oh.
I don't need any of the good stuff. The Moran and Orcs definitely can use some of those. I want the Theoden, but really it comes down to one thing.
The buck.
I want the smell of opening the new box. You know how long it's been since I've opened one of those big boxes? For years and years, we're opening these big boxes every year when the new editions of Warhammer and 40k came out. It's been so long since I've opened
Cut off the cellophane wrap.
Oh, yeah.
The first smell of the
That's right. No, cardboard. But it's also, you know, for the two books. So you got the Army book in there and the new rule book.
I don't think it comes with the Army book.
It does.
Wait, both of the books
Well,
are
there's
in it?
two books in it.
No.
Oh, maybe it doesn't.
One's the rules and one's like a
scenario book.
Here's the profiles for the stuff in the box.
Okay. Well, at any rate, it's got the
still got the
rule book.
Yeah.
Right.
There's gonna be lots of people starting those two factions.
Yeah, well, you know we'll be fighting a lot of those armies next year. But you know what? It's not aimed at people like us.
No.
At players like us. Mm-hmm. It's aimed at getting new players into the game, and it's just like a huge value, like for us here in Canada. It's pretty much been defined that it's going to be £95 or like 200, I think, in Canada, or 190.
It's the same-ish. Well, they said it's going to be the same price as the Soul Wars box, and the Soul Wars for Age of Sigmar 2.0 was $190.
Yeah. Okay, so it's going to be, let's say, 190 in Canada, but like there's
the rulebook $70.
Derek posted a list of it on the Facebook
Okay.
group, like either today or yesterday, and it's over 500.
Yeah.
He like had to estimate.
Huge value. Huge value.
It's crazy, like the amount of value in that. The thing is, though, that for us, there's not a lot of new product in there. There's one thing.
Yeah.
Theoden. That's it. So there's not actually a lot of attraction on the model side of things for players like us to buy it, because I have like so many Riders of Rohan and Army of the Dead and all that, right? I do actually need the Morannons, which is good for me.
Yeah.
Right? And who can't use another troll? I mean, my goodness. Right?
Fell Beast is,
Yeah, the Fell Beast, like that Fell Beast now, like everybody will have it, so I don't know if you'll be able to like trade it or sell it. But anyways, it's the new rule book.
It's to get new people into it.
Yeah, and it's to get new people, and it will be in Games Workshop.
Yeah.
It will be sold in Games Workshop, which is great. And the theory is, too, that they're going to be bringing out supporting models for it, like the ones that are going to be in their Pelennor field sort of scenarios and all that. And
that'll be cool.
Those will be the models where they'll make the money.
Yeah.
Right? On people buying those.
And
those are the ones that, like, you and I may buy.
Yeah. Right?
Like, I have Minas Tirith army, so any heroes that come out for that, I'll be buying it.
Man, like I don't know, like I've always wanted to do an Army of the Dead,
Yeah.
For the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've got a banner model.
Yeah.
That I've been like waiting to build, and I always loved the Army of the Dead Riders. It's one of my favorite models.
Yes.
But yeah, the Rider of the Dead has always been one of my.
Are they resin or?
No, they're metal.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of my all-time favorite models in the line.
So, the new box set.
Yep.
The new rules.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's been tons and tons of conversation about and theories and whatever about what's going to be in the new rules, what's going to be removed, what's going to be added, what's going to be changed.
Yeah.
What's broken and needs to be fixed, all of that. But like, as far as we are concerned and you are concerned, if you had to name like a couple, 2 or 3 things that you wanted to see in the new rules, like fixed or changed or whatever, what would some of them be? I know my big one, and I bet you it's not going to change in the slightest, but you go first.
Yeah, well the big one is special strikes and some heroic actions.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly like fighting, heroic strikes, rolling, like anything that you call something and you have to roll another dice for, it slows the game down. We had this conversation.
So like piercing strike.
Mike.
Yeah, yeah.
It's extra dice rolls. So
Yeah.
I'm in a piercing strike. Okay, well did I win or did I lose? Okay, well my strength goes up by this or my defense goes down by this.
It's like whether you win or lose,
Yeah.
you have to roll an additional dice. And
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like a lot.
Just-
but when you multiply that by 25 guys in your army that
Yeah.
are all piercing
It
or
adds
whatever.
time.
Yeah, and it's like turn after turn. It's like, oh.
My big thing is streamline it and make it make it a set value. Like you either go up by 1 strength or you go up by 2 or you go down by 1 defense.
Well, not only that,
The
but
other thing is fainting.
well, hold on, don't move off that for
No.
But like piercing strike as a special rule, it's too good,
Yeah.
right? It's too good.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah. How many times do we see defense 3 models with axes?
yeah, as a wise man once said, it's not worth 0 points.
Correct.
It is worth more than 0.
Yeah.
And it's, it's abused in the game.
Yeah. Well, like I say, defense 3 models.
Yeah.
You're already going to be wounded on some ridiculously low number anyway. Well, I'm gonna piercing strike because it's only beneficial to me.
Exactly. Okay, fainting. What were you?
But fainting is another thing. It's like people with a high fight value.
Yeah.
Should be the ones fainting.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think that's the intent of the rule, but the way it is everyone's like, well, I have a lower fight value than me, and my fight's going to drop anyway, so I may as well just faint.
Yeah, like it's an auto-include thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, are you higher fight? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm fainting.
Why can an orc with a sword faint or out faint like Glorfindel, who's like one of the top swordsmen?
It's a bizarre name for that rule.
Okay.
Because really what it is you're giving your guy a very small percentage increase in wounding the other model, and it's very small.
Yeah.
Right? By fainting. But fainting isn't about wounding the other guy, it's about winning the duel.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
when you're fainting in a sword fight, it's a finesse thing. It's really comes down to the duel roll in this game.
Yeah.
And whatever the rule is for fainting, if that's what they're going to call it, it needs to be applied to the duel, not to wounding.
Yeah, that makes it even better. So
anyway.
enough of that. I'd like to see a set value where you don't have to keep rolling dice, because every other dice you have to roll in a fight just adds, like, you can have like a 5-minute fight just deciding, well, do I want to strike or are you going to shield? Or are you going to pierce?
Yeah, I know.
Like back and forth.
Well, we have our own way of doing the whole
Yeah.
who are you shielding or not shielding thing. And we do it, whoever doesn't have priority has to call their special strike or shielding first, and it works fine.
Yeah.
Right? But when you're out in the tournament world, it's a cluster.
I'm just like, you have a shield and I don't.
Yeah.
Are you shielding? Or are you going to piercing strike? I will piercing strike if you shield.
Yeah.
So you tell me if you're shielding or not.
Yeah.
And if not, then
It's like, come on, let's figure out
Let's
something
make this
that
fast.
is a little more
So that's my
streamlined.
special strikes is a big one of
Special
mine.
strikes. Okay, for me, it is in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's a mess that's in the way.
It's like I'm gonna fire through 15 guys.
It's one of the big problems with in the way is the whole good cannot fire into combat.
Yeah.
That's a major problem in the rule set, in the mechanics of the rule set. But unfortunately, There's no way in hell they're gonna repeal that rule. No way. But the problem is because it's actually in the way that causes that to be a problem. My issue with the in the way is two things. One, it's not a consistent rule through the rule set. You know, like in the way, it's usually 50-50, right? Whether you hit or you don't hit, right? But you know, you come to a combat, you're like, evil is going to fire into this combat. There's one good model and there's 5 evil models. Okay, well, yeah, it's 50-50. Like, what? It's like, well, why is it 50-50? Right? It doesn't, you know, okay, I'm going to say it. It doesn't make sense, right? But yet, when you fire at a fell beast, it's not 50-50.
That's true.
Right? It's you roll a 1 or a 2, you hit the rider, and 3 plus you hit the fell beast. Well, why is that? Well, because the fell beast is so much bigger. Well, why here? There's 5 of his guys, my guys, and 1 of his guys. You know,
it's to streamline it. If it wasn't that way, you'd be like, well, how many guys are in there? You gotta count them up.
So that's one thing. It is that it's not a consistent rule across. And yes, it doesn't make sense. But the one thing is that rule really is. I didn't design the game, obviously, but like from a design point of view, like that rule in the way when your models on the table are in the way of other models, it's for infantry. Right? Maybe cavalry also, right? But as soon as you get out of infantry and cavalry size model, the rule just does not work. Right? Like, it just does not work.
Why can't my like bow guy fire at that hulking troll that's standing 2 to 3 times the height of...
So it really, it's one of the things that contributes to fell beasts being so good, right? Like anything like that, they can just hide in combat and they can't be shot, right? And yet it's silly because, you know, like 90% of the model, like this is your target in the game that an archer is shooting at, right? So if you can see that much of your target, it's a clear shot, right? But yet you can see 10 times as much as that, right? And still not be able to fire because there's a little model down here touching its base. Right? It doesn't work, right? Like Smog, you can't fire at him because Fatty Bulger is in contact with him. Like, oh my god. Right?
It makes no sense.
Yeah, you know, it's a tough rule to fix. It's only tough because the solutions would be slightly complicated, and they don't like slightly complicated even in this kind of thing. They want it to be cut and dry.
They want to eliminate
that. Like if they would actually make base size a thing, like you have to have this base size for this model, you could easily do it, right? But yeah, that's my big one. And I'm pretty sure that nothing whatsoever will happen within the way.
And then I think we're both kind of together on the third point that we want to make. And
and it shouldn't be the third one. It should probably be the first one.
It's that, like, obviously everybody said this, the horse has been beaten to death. Fell beasts need to be changed. They need to either have a points increase or a stat decrease or not as effective.
Or fix the in the way, and then they're not really as big of a problem.
Now, granted, the guy that's riding them is terrible until he gets put on the fell beast. Just one, like, imagine Aragorn riding around a fell beast. Like, it'd be...
Well, it's like the Witch King with the crown, you know, he's awesome. But it's expensive. But
so
the thing is, like,
the crown's worth 30 points, or a fell beast is like worth 50. What are you going to take?
The fell beast, like, a lot of people will argue, well, it's not that good. Like, if you get dismounted, you lose the fell beast. Well, the whole thing is that you don't get dismounted. It's got a strength 6.
A player that knows how to use them.
Because it has a strength 6, it rarely ever, well, I guess it doesn't get knocked over because things are thrown at it. Because it has a strength 6. It rarely ever gets hurled because the thing would have to have a strength 7 or higher, right? It can almost never be shot at because it's always in combat, right? It's just got so much going for it, and it hurls, and can fly, and can move 12 inches, and can be taken in multiples by the army. that takes it.
Yeah.
It's just way too good. Way too good. And I'm not even talking about magic here.
Yeah.
Not even talking about
just
combining
the 50-point thing.
You know, not to mention that everything that it's charging has been transfixed.
Yeah.
Right? Like, not even including that.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, so something needs to happen there, because it's like, you know, look at our tournament here that we're just finished talking about. You know, it's not a coincidence that the two top armies both had at least 2 ring race on Fellbeast in them. It's not a coincidence.
No.
Right. So those are, I think, 3 of our top. Fellbeasts, something needs to be done with that, and I think it will.
Yeah.
I think it will. Not sure what. Maybe they'll even just make them strength 5.
Yeah.
That'd change a lot.
It would.
Would reduce the hurl.
It would reduce their effectiveness.
It would mean they would get knocked down a lot more.
It just means that people will be buying the Horned Fellbeast more.
Take away the Horned Fellbeast. So that in the way for me.
And special strikes.
And special strikes. Yeah, special strikes would be good, just to sort of reduce all the dice rolling a little bit in the time.
But I think that's it.
That is it.
I think we've got very little time.
We're running low on time.
Like 3 minutes or something. So, we'll say thanks for listening to us.
And get your toy soldiers out and come and play some games with us at the OSBGL.
Yeah.
See you next time, guys.
Thanks.